good afternoon, good morning, good evening. You know, the show is seen in so many different places, you don't know what time it's going to go on. This is Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Verdon. I've got a really good show for you tonight. Hurry up, go and get your coffee, get a paper and pencil, sit down in your comfortable chair, have the dog fed so he isn't barking at you, and relax, because this one's for you. Now, the guest that I have on today's show, I'm sure you'll recognize immediately, because she has been with Channel 5 News for the last 20 years. I think she just told me last April. And her name is Dr. Sandy Goldberg, and she has a weekend show on nutrition. And she's been doing it for 20 years, and she's been doing it with a lot of interest. But that isn't the reason that I have her here today. The reason that she's here today is she has formed a foundation. It's called A Silver Lining Foundation. And what she's going to tell us all about is how this foundation got started and what it means and why she started it. So sit back, relax, and take the information. Dr. Sandy, it's our privilege to have you here today. Welcome.
Vita, the pleasure and honor is mine. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you know, these people out here, we're friends. We've gotten to know each other after all the years that I've been on the air with them. And what they'd like to know, I know they like to get up close and personal. Just, they like to know something about you. I know they'll say, oh yeah, I've seen her on Channel 5. That's what they're doing right now. Do you see who she's got on the show? You know, so they would like to know a little bit about you. And if you look into that camera, you can tell them everything.
There's nothing like having a floor director sitting next to me as well as a wonderful host. Well, I'm so delighted to be here on the show with Vita today and to talk to you a little bit certainly about myself, but also what I consider to be my baby, A Silver Lining Foundation. I've been on NBC for 20 years, Channel 5, been fortunate enough to be with a group of people and a group of younger people as well who keep me young, but also our viewers, such as the ones that you have, Vita, who are active, who are interested, and who are involved. And that is what keeps, I think, both of our shows really, and I'm looking for a word here, really vibrant, I think.
Alive.
And current, exactly.
Alive,
and
energized.
Exactly. Now, starting the Silver Lining Foundation really was as a result of my own diagnosis.
Before you go into that, there's a request that I have. Every guest that's on the show, they have to give a big smacker like this.
Oh, can I really do that?
Right there to you.
Okay, to the camera. Are you ready? A smack from me to all of you. And again, I'm so glad to be here. Should I talk about A Silver Lining or me first? What would you prefer?
Oh, go for the silver lining. I just wanted you to get that smackaroonie and give one more smackaroonie for your husband.
Greg, you're going to be watching. I know it. Vita and I have suggested very strongly that you do. So a smackaroonie from both of us to you, Greggy. You should give him one too.
Oh.
And she
3.
gave you 3. I love this. 2 platinum-haired women sending smackaroonies to my hubby. This is the best.
Right. So, now you can really to give us the whole lowdown on Silver Lining and why you started it.
Okay. Well, my husband and I started a Silver Lining Foundation in 2002. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2000. And it was a challenging time. I think all of us who hear the word, you have cancer, in my case, breast cancer, we feel as though we've been hit by a bus. And I don't care how much training you have, I don't care what your history is, when you hear those words, it is exactly the same regardless of your background. So I was going through treatment. Given my diagnosis, I was in treatment for a long time. But about 1.5 years into my treatment, my oncologist said, let's go to a meeting of the American Cancer Society. And I was sitting there, and as with you, Vita, I'm very shy. Sit there, right? Don't believe that for a second. And I said in that meeting, where's your media? And they said, well, we really don't have any. And long story short, I ended up starting a 13-week cable show in Chicago, a call-in show, with the American Cancer Society. I was the host. I was interviewing specialists in the field of cancer, and our viewers were calling in. Within a very short time, the calls outpaced the time of the show, and I would call people back. And I would answer from the perspective that I had as a survivor, which was blessed. Blessed by the support of my family, blessed by the support of my coworkers and my boss at NBC, but most of all, blessed with with fabulous insurance. And I learned two things when our callers would ask their questions. Number one, they were using our show as their primary care physician. And when I would make suggestions from my protected world, the response I had broke my heart. It was that people felt that they weren't worthy because they had no money and they had no insurance. And I came home one night, my husband said, "How are you?" And I started to cry. Usually I only cry during television commercials. And I was telling him about what was going on at the cable show. And he said, "So what are you going to do about it, Sandy?" And from somewhere, start a foundation. And let's call it a Silver Lining Foundation. Because you know, Vita, a lot of what we do at Silver Lining is based on the teachings and the philosophy of my late mother, you know. And she would always say, because I remember my parents were immigrants, and my father would write the checks and my mother would explain what the bills were for. That was the way it was in my generation. And my father would always ask my mother, you know, who is this person? Why is he paying their rent? The girls don't have braces. What's the orthodontist bill? And my mother would say to him, all 4'8" of her, to my 6-foot-tall father, "We are all family and we have to help each other through the tough times." And I remembered that. And I remembered what she would say when I would come to her with my angst, my problems growing up. You know, as a teenager, everything is a tragedy. And she would say there is always a silver lining. And that is how we got started.
But I really believe that, even through any darkest day that anyone goes through, if they persevere, there is a silver lining. If you persevere through it, there is a way of doing it. And like we were talking before the show, that we feel that we were in some sort of predestination,
Right.
you know, set to be, this is what we're supposed to be doing, because it's like no strain.
Well, you know what I think what happens, especially for many of us, is that there's a motivating factor that causes us to go down a completely different path than we thought that we were going to go down. I mean, I didn't realize how insulated my life was. I mean, I consider myself blessed, but I never really considered myself, I never really thought about it that much. And when we started A Silver Lining, which was going to be basically resource information and outreach that has now expanded to 5 programs, and we, in our mammography program, our cost-free mammography program, we now have 10 partner hospitals in the greater Chicagoland area, Elgin and Rockford, is that what my experiences, and I was in treatment for 5 years, so that what my experiences taught me is that why should there be a differential between people being able to get a test that potentially could save their life? So I agree with you in terms of that almost, here's our path, we're going to take our path, and we're going to see what we can do to help others, as you are doing with the show.
Now, what I'd like you to do, we're going to continue in this talking, but give out a telephone number and give out the website.
Sure.
It also will be up on graphics, so
Great.
that anybody seeing this show, you know, if they're interested, you know, whatever they're interested in, can contact you, that we make this contact information
great.
available.
That is great, and I appreciate that. Our telephone number is 312-345-1322. I will tell you we don't have voicemail. I don't like voicemail. So what you will get if you call 24/7 is a live person. It'll be me after hours because we have all of our calls hunting over to my cell phone number. So if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I may sound a little sleepy, but our website is A Silver Lining Foundation, all one word, and don't forget the A in front of it, .org. Again, A Silver Lining Foundation.org.
What I'd like you to do is go into a little more extensively what your foundation covers. Now, do you look for any volunteers to help you?
We love volunteers. And something that you don't know that we haven't discussed that I'd like to share with your viewers.
Okay.
A Silver Lining Foundation operates with 1 full-time staffer, 2 part-time staffers, and 38 volunteers. To us, our volunteers are our biggest blessing. You know, you referred to our gala that we just had this past Saturday night. One of the best parts about my getting up and talking in front of the gala and the people that attend the gala is in the back of the room, I ask all our volunteers to come in, and every single time they get a standing ovation. Well deserved, well deserved.
Oh, that is so good. Now, you say that you have 5 programs.
We do.
Could you name the 5 programs?
Oh, I'd love to. You have me talking about my baby. This is the best interview. All right, we started off with the Silver Lining Foundation. And again, I want to tell you all that Silver Lining started at our kitchen table with my husband and myself with one $2,500 check from a friend that believed in us. We have an outreach and resource program. That's the Chicagoland Cancer Information Coalition. We have our mammography program. We call that Buy a Mom a Mammogram. We have a teen program, which we call Keep Abreast. And I'd like to talk about that in a little detail later on, if that's okay with you. We also have our mammography center over at the University of Illinois Medical Center. That's one of our partner hospitals. And we're people coming to get their mammograms and all their diagnostic testing, if needed, at the University of Illinois Medical Center. They go to the, and I cry every time I say this, the Sandy Goldberg Mammography Center that was renamed at UIC in honor of my late mother, who I know was watching. And then also we just started a pilot project, which we are going to expand to all of our partner hospitals, called Survive to Thrive. And that is a program that will fund testing for any uninsured or underinsured breast cancer survivor, because I can't imagine anything worse than having gone through the fire, had the diagnosis, gone through what you had to, and can't get follow-up to make sure that you're still okay.
Well, we're going to go deeper in the programs, but right now it's Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. Now, you know, I talk to you about everything. And I know that because as I meet you in the different stores, you come up and say, oh, you know, I did that, what you said last show, and that really works. I'm going to talk to you about something, first of all, that I keep saying over and over and over again. But I want you to get this because it's important. When you take your vitamins, you have to take them, or any kind of supplement, with a certain amount of food. If you do not take them with a certain amount of food, the only thing that's going to get the benefit of it is your toilet, because it's going to go right on through you. So remember that. That is a good thing to put on a to-do list and put it on your refrigerator. Now it's time to take your fall comforter off your bed and put the down quilt on. And winter is coming, and you know, we're a bit older now. So I've talked to you about this. You know, I have a plate in my leg that if there's going to be a lot of ice around, or you're going to an event, like I went to something at the Art Institute and it was so crowded, I was really glad I had my folding cane, because you don't need to take a fall. Falls that is so prevalent amongst our age group. So you can go to Walgreens, you can go to any medical supply store, and they're like around the $20 mark. You can afford that. That's going to save you a big cost. So go out and do that. Now, listen to everything she's saying about this Silver Lining Foundation. You know, I only come to you. I have never sold you anything. You know me for the last 14 years. I only come to you when I really see that a project is worthy and that what she's doing. Now, it's much better, and this is what we're emphasizing today, to give than receive. And I'm always talking to you about that. Get off the couch, go and volunteer, and you'll find out the satisfaction that you get. Now, her program is a wide program, so if you haven't caught the data, be sure to contact her, because it's resource information, and then she has benefits available. So every one of us knows somebody who was hit with cancer or has it themselves. So be sure to pay attention to what all these different programs are, because there are not a lot of programs around like this today, and that's why her program is flourishing, because it's something that we need in our society. Now, I talked to you, we had Willard Helander from the clerk's office on voting, and remember, in our block of voters, we are the highest group to get out there. And like I have said over and over again, I've already voted by mail, so I know that I'm secure in mine. If you haven't got anyone to take you, call somebody, call your alderman, call the voters, call into where you signed up for your voting certificate, and get out to vote, because this is a privilege. This is a privilege we have in this country, and we don't want to lose any of our privileges. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm insisting that you do vote. Now we're going to get back to the nitty-gritty and the depth of the programs.
Good for you. I love that. You know, but what is important, and we've talked about this over and over again, what is the messaging? And the messaging is really to be out in the community and remind people of what is available. And also what Vita said is very important in terms of being aware of the programs of A Silver Lining Foundation. You know, most of us are covered by Medicare, some of us by Medicaid. You have children, you have grandchildren, you have neighbors, you have relatives who perhaps are uninsured or underinsured but do need that testing. And for that, I urge you to share the information on A Silver Lining Foundation.
Right. And then also, I know you have a lot of resources.
Well, we do.
Yes.
Our Chicagoland Cancer Information Coalition, which was really the program that my husband and I started.
That was the original
thinking
program.
that was the original one.
Uh-huh.
And as you say, things sort of, we go down a path,
Right.
and the path takes us someplace that we never anticipated. We have 24 participating organizations under our outreach program, including, if you're in the Chicago area or know of someone who lives in the Chicago area, 311, the city services hotline. If you have a question, maybe you need access to a wig, maybe you might need access to transportation, maybe you might need access to, if you're going through treatment and need to have some help from a financial standpoint. If you call us at A Silver Lining Foundation, we can route you to one of our partner organizations, several of which are regional, several of which are national in scope, and you might be able to get some help there as well. You know, we think about the aspect of what we focus on at A Silver Lining Foundation in terms of our direct funding is all breast health related. I will also remind you that men can get breast cancer as well. So what we want to be sure is that everyone is getting their annual mammogram. If you're uninsured or underinsured, we will fund that at one of our 10 partner hospitals. If you need diagnostic testing, the follow-up, because people have said to me, Dr. Sandy, okay, so I get a mammogram, but what happens if I need something else? You will be funded. You will be funded. You will not pay one single dime. And you know what's happened this year, Vita? Every 6 months, I take a look at our numbers, you know, the people who come to us. We keep track of those women and men who have been diagnosed through Silver Lining. The first 6 months of 2014, we have had as many people diagnosed with breast cancer as we did the entire year of 2013.
Well, I'd like to inject something now to make it clear to our audience that one of the things I think is so important about your foundation is that you do not say to them, oh, I can't take that, that's not my job, this isn't our department. When they come to you, you are an information resource center that they don't have to make a dozen calls
Right.
to find out, because you have this information at hand.
We give, and that's a very good question, because when you talk specifically about access to resources, you know, if an individual calls us at 312-345-1322 and says, I need this or I need that, we will provide the phone number. What we will also do, again, is to provide access to cost-free breast health testing. And there are questions that we don't ask. You know, we don't expect someone to come to us with their financial data.
Right.
It's hard enough to call a stranger. We don't ask about documentation. My theory is everyone has 2 breasts. So we should be able to get access to a test that potentially can save our lives.
Well, I know that our audience right now is saying, yes, yes, I know, I have this sister-in-law,
Right.
my neighbor. So why don't we very clearly give the telephone number, even though it's listed on the graphics, and the website number that
Absolutely.
they can call you to make it available and clear. Hopefully you have your pencil and paper. Remember on the shows I tell you, bring it. It's just for this moment. Okay, now give it out to them.
Okay, our phone number is 312-345-1322. Office hours are, theoretically speaking, between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. However, if you call on a Saturday or you call on a Sunday, all phone calls, all of our phone lines are actually forwarded over to my cell phone. So you'll get me. Our website is A Silver Lining Foundation, all one word, and don't forget the A in front of it, .org. And there you will be able to read the entire story of A Silver Lining, what we do, a real breakdown and analysis of all of our programs. You'll see pictures of everyone involved. In fact, we post pictures of the mammography techs at each of our partner hospitals so people can see who is doing their testing when they walk in.
Oh, that's good. Now, a question that I have, when you talk about your partner hospitals,
Yes.
what does that mean? I like that cleared up a little bit.
Okay, what we do at A Silver Lining Foundation is that we work with very specific hospitals. We are the funders. That's what we do. So she has the money that she's getting from the foundation, okay? And they're funding these hospitals. At very specific hospitals.
Okay.
And what we do, say a hospital comes to us, or we perceive of a demographic need, a need in a particular area. What we do is we go in to hospitals that we are thinking about working with us. We vet the techs, we check the techs, we check the equipment, we check the doctors, we check the certifications. Most importantly, how are you going to be treated when you walk in the door to get your testing through A Silver Lining Foundation? That's the most important.
Now, another question that I have, say that somebody doesn't want to reveal, but they know somebody, but they don't want to reveal it. Could they call and get certain information from you, till they are ready to come out with the full information?
Well, we have a lot of people who do call us and ask a lot of very good questions about what we do at Silver Lining. Because in this day and age, you can't be too careful about what you're hearing. Is it indeed fact? So they'll ask, but I have insurance, but I don't have wellness insurance. I can't get a mammogram. Say, as an example, many younger women can't get testing under the age of 40. In fact, the youngest woman diagnosed through us, Vita, is 21 years old.
That is young.
We are all encompassing in our desire to be able to help people. We have no problems answering any questions at all. Everything is kept confidential, and even our relationships with our partner hospitals, everything is confidential. We work according to codes.
Okay.
So that, I think, is very important in terms of ensuring privacy of everyone who comes to us.
Okay, let's go over one more time what your 5 different programs are so they can get it set in their head, because this is new information they're getting, okay?
Sure. And then also, all of it, as I said, is in great detail on our website. So
Okay.
the 5 programs of A Silver Lining Foundation are the Chicagoland Cancer Information Coalition. That's our resource and information program.
All right, now are there brochures on this from the...
Actually, no, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because we spend as little money as we possibly can.
I'm putting out publication
We do,
because you
on
put
purpose.
it into the use.
Everything is in our everything goes toward our programs. As an
That's good
example,
thinking.
our gala the other night, we had our big gala the other night. It was underwritten. Every single dime raised that night goes to our programs.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is great. So we have our outreach program.
Okay, you have that.
Right. We have a teen program called Keep Abreast. And what that is a multimedia presentation by a trained survivor to young women ages 15 through 19 to explain to them how to do a proper breast exam, what is it, actually show them a video of what it's like, have breast models. We have expanded that program
Now,
to
does
adult
that go
women.
in schools?
It goes in schools, it goes in any place. We'll take it to a park district. We've taken it to correctional facility,
sports,
treatment center, any place. If someone calls us and says, you know, we'd really like to get your breast health education program, which has now been expanded to adults as well, come into our facility, the answer is yes, we will do that. Then we have our Buy a Mom a Mammogram program. That's my heart. And we fund the entire spectrum of breast health testing, from screening mammograms, that's the walk-in-the-door mammogram, through biopsy at 10 partner hospitals. And we discussed what a partner hospital means to us at a Silver Lining Foundation. If you get your screenings, your testing at the University of Illinois Medical Center, then it will be done at the Evelyn Goldberg Mammography Center, named for my late mother, whose philosophy drives us all. And our newest program that started off as a pilot at 2 of our partner hospitals, that in 2015 will be expanded to all of our hospitals, is called Survive to Thrive. And that is a program designed specifically for testing for uninsured and underinsured breast cancer survivors. Why should we have to worry that we're still okay? This way we know.
Okay, now this is a question that I have asked every guest. And where does your passion lie? And what are you receiving from creating this and being the voice for the A Silver Lining Foundation?
I have to reach out and touch you, because our philosophy is exactly the same. And I think that I can speak for both of us, that what our passion is, yours and mine, is helping other people. There is a peace involved in knowing that one life has a ripple effect on so many lives. And that is my passion, and that's is your passion
also.
And that is why both of us, with our platinum hair, are going to continue doing what we've been doing indefinitely, because it's fun, it's great to help other people, and we have the world's best life, don't we?
We sure do. And the best is yet to come.
Yes, indeed it is.
Because we can look forward. Now, you've heard all this, and you know that you can contact me. My website is seniorissuesetc.org, and you can ask any questions. And what we're going to do is we're going to extend an invitation to Dr. Sandy that she can come on anytime and tell us the results, and we'd like to hear of the growth of this, because this truly is her baby, and it's a baby that's growing very fast because it's needed in our society today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I know that all of you watch Vida on a regular basis. There is no better benefit to you, and there is no better benefit to those around you than to share the words on this absolutely remarkable show.
And now you know, when you out there, I'm talking to you, you sitting on the couch, come to the end of your rope. You know what you do with it? Because I tell you all the time, you tie a knot and you hang on. You know why? Because the best is yet to come. And what we want you all to do this week is to catch the spirit. God bless you. We love you.